we are going to break down Georgia's schedule for 2025. So, Dave, as we always do, let's go ahead and talk about it. Marshall week 1, Austin Peay week 2. Then you got to travel up to Knoxville, which a game that I think you and I both said when Nico was there maybe could have been in favor of the Vols just because of the veteranship and also because of it being in your backyard. Josh Heupel going into year 5. Alabama week 4. Then you play against Kentucky. You go on the road to Jordan-Hare to play against Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, Mississippi State, then Texas late. I think it's the 19th. Is that right, Dave? The 20th?
Yeah.
Charlotte and then Georgia Tech.
I'm sorry, the 15th. Yeah.
15th. Yeah, 15th. Most winnable conference game. I think that it's fair that we could say it's 1 or 2.
Yeah, just because it's at home, I'll go Kentucky.
I'll go Mississippi State because of
Yeah, I mean, you can argue either one of them.
Like, okay. The thing is that what seems more likely? Mississippi State ends up playing its best game the way that Kentucky did last year and loses, or that Kentucky just has given up by the time they walk into Athens.
Dude, State may be a little better in Kentucky this year, I think.
There's a part of me that wants to put Mississippi State ahead of Kentucky right now. There's a slight part of me because I believe enough that the offense is going to be better on the ground, having Fluff Bothwell, especially what you have back with Davin Booth. And so now that's a 1-2 combination at running back, year 2 in Jeff Levy's system. There's a part of me that wants to say they're going to finish 4-8. They're going to finish 5-7. They're not going to be great, but they're going to look decent. Like I can picture.
They'll be better on defense. Offensive line is still just a major question mark. You're not up to SEC standards, but no, I mean, I'm with you. They should. Yeah, I mean, again, not a challenge for Joe. I think we're splitting hairs here at Kentucky, Mississippi State. You can make a case for either one.
Is it weird also that they only have 3 road games in conference this year?
Yeah, because Florida's a neutral site.
Florida's a neutral site game.
It's a road game, I guess, technically this year. They'll be in the white jerseys.
I'll say they'll be wearing the white, but it's a neutral site game. The must-see matchup. Which one is it for you?
Must-see matchup. To me, it's got to be Bama making that trip to Sanford. I mean, at some point, man. I mean, you've beaten Alabama, twice since 2007. You got to win that. I think if you're Georgia, if not now, win a little bit for this perspective. I mean, it's at home, new starting quarterback for Alabama. This is kind of the monkey you can't get off your back, whether it was a Nick Saban and Alabama thing. I think it's just kind of at times Alabama's kind of had your number is what it is in sports. That happens. I think that's it. I think that's the one Georgia fans are like, dude, if these guys come into our house again, not again, if they just come into I should say again, but if they come in this year and beat us, that's the one you got to have circled, right? If you're a Georgia fan or if you're Kirby Smart.
I go Texas. And I just go Texas because of how many people are so – and it's not fair to say this way, so let me phrase this properly. Texas has the money, the resources, the boosters, and the overall facility to be the biggest threat in the SEC for the next decade plus. They do. They absolutely do. And I know that respect is earned and that Georgia has beaten Texas twice already, once in the SEC championship. I get that. I do. But Texas also has the number 1 recruiting class. Texas, what they lost, they were able to feel pretty confident in by replenishing via the portal. Just like you replenish in the portal. You got rid of all your wide receivers. You bring in Zachariah Branch. You bring in Noah Thomas. Okay, Gunnar Stockton, you now have better weaponry to take that next step forward in Mike Bobo's system. We feel decent about our offensive line. Hey, Nate Frazier, you got to hold on to the football because if you don't, Josh McCray is going to run behind you. Texas feels the same way. Hey, we got a tight end to go work with Arch Manning and Jack Endries. Hey, we brought in a wide receiver that was really, really promising in the ACC with Emmett Mosley. We added in literally as many defensive tackles as possible. So we're showing you that just because of we're Texas and we were in the Big 12, we're not going to sit by and let you think that your brand is bigger than our brand. Like, I grew up in this state, and I can tell you right now, we've had this conversation multiple times. Who is more profitable as a program? Texas A&M, that we talk about all that oil money, or Texas? I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Texas has more money than Texas A&M in a lot of different areas, and they're not afraid to spend it. They are not afraid when they get that belief in to go ahead and invest as much as possible. So this is a moment where if you are Georgia, you're still claiming we are the standard of the SEC, and we're going to be the standard. And you may end up winning multiple 10-win seasons and going to the playoff, but we'll be right there with you, smiling and shaking and saying hello and hoping that, hey, congratulations. Best of luck to you and what you got going for you moving forward. But when we meet you in the semis, we're kicking your ass. It's just Alabama right now. I understand. If not now, when, Kirby? Is it a Bama thing or is it a Nick Saban thing? Really, what is it? We'll find out more this year. But I just feel like Texas, again, there will be so many people, and the narratives are going to be created if Texas wins this game. I mean, you can hear it. Down goes Georgia. Texas becomes the face of the SEC. And that's not fair. But you want to make sure that it doesn't answer that way? Beat them in your backyard like you beat them in theirs.
Yeah. I mean, you make a case for that one, too. I mean, Texas never goes there either.
No. 3 must-win games.
I mean, outside the obvious ones, but let's go. Yeah. For me, I'm going to go Alabama this year's one. I think Florida this year, and then I'll go Texas at home. Again, I don't think you're going to lose to Tennessee, but I think if there was a year you could afford to, it's probably very early in the year this year, with you're breaking in a lot of newcomers on defense, which are really talented. Just they're newcomers, their first road game in the SEC. Losing Nico makes me feel more confident in that, but I don't think that was Kirby's lost to Tennessee one time his first year in the Hail Mary pass to Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Georgia fans would be like, what the hell if we lost that game? I think this year, yeah, because Florida's kind of got a lot of hype coming in. I think a lot of people are high on Florida going into the year. Maybe get a little bit more juice back in that game, kind of set the tone with them, naturally Alabama, and then to some of the points you made as well, I think Texas. I think those 3, Alabama, Florida, and Texas.
I want to be different than you. So Alabama and Texas are easy ones because if those are 2 teams that can go to the college football playoff alongside you. So that's fair. In your opinion, because I think that Florida is a must-win game, but it's also like if you were to lose that game, Florida could find a way to shoot itself in the foot and it doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. You can lose Tennessee and it doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. Is Ole Miss or Georgia Tech a more must-win game? And I understand for a conference perspective, it's easily Ole Miss. But that 8 overtime game and the way that I think Georgia Tech is built this year, there's enough for me to say I'm excited about what we're getting in Brent Key.
Yeah, I'd probably say Ole Miss still just because of the game.
I mean, again, because if you were to go 10-2 and one game is in non-conference, you can still go to Atlanta because you only have 1 loss. So it's like, yeah, I get it. A part of me also thinks that Ole Miss coming in here, they're going to have confidence because they've already beaten Georgia. But Georgia just wants to shut up Lane Kiffin. Because, I mean, that's going to be the motivation that you have behind it.
I hate that Tech games at Mercedes now.
I know. It's dumb. It's so dumb. It's stupid. I think that also kind of takes away from it, too. Like, Ole Miss, again, you got to see, like, for a cup of coffee, what Austin Simmons was. And he looked really good. Like, he looked confident. He looked very well connected with Caden Lee, who's going to be back last year. So it's like, I don't see them losing that game, but I also think that there's that scenario where Ole Miss came in, what was it, 2022?
Yeah.
Or 2023? Yeah, 23. Yeah. And it was like 7-0. And then Georgia said, okay, time to go to work. And they put belt to ass. It was like 50-something to 17. Yeah, 52-17. Thank you, Motivated, Dedicated. Yeah, belt to ass. As soon as they got that rhythm, like pedal to the metal, nonstop. I think that could be the case. I think it could be a close game. But either way, I think that Kirby wants to send a message to Lane. Like, you got me one time. Know your place in the pecking order. I think that's probably why.
I'll be honest with you. After working at Georgia for 2 years, granted, they beat us 1 year. But I don't think Georgia fans really give a crap about the old clean, old-fashioned hate. Now, I say all that until they beat you, and then you care. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I think it means more a little bit to Georgia Tech than it does Georgia, right? The damn nerds.
I think, okay, well, here's the thing. If Georgia Tech somehow beats Clemson and then they beat Georgia, if that were just to happen, the rest of their schedule is so manageable, they could be 11-1 and almost a shoo-in for the college football playoff. Like, their schedule is extremely manageable. And I like their offensive line. And I like what they have at quarterback with Haynes King back for another year. Both the Florida International wide receivers are really good. Their defense, I know they lost Tyler Santucci, but I think that Blake Gideon is going to be fine with the personnel that he has. How is he going to be as a play caller? He's going to be really well tested. So that game means way more, I think, to Georgia Tech than it does to Georgia. Because of, again, that game on the record where 10-2 guarantees your spot in the college football playoff if you're in the SEC. It doesn't in the ACC. So I think that's another factor that you got to throw into it. Ceiling and floor. What's the ceiling of this team?
In 12-0, natural. I think most people would agree with that. Floor, I would say if things don't pan out, 9-3. That's why I think it's one of their lowest floors from a record. I don't think a talent perspective, but I think lowest floor from a schedule perspective because they're replacing so much. I'm going to go ceiling 12-0, floor 9-3. If Nico was there, I just can't lean the Tennessee game completely. But maybe Auburn, Hugh Freeze get it done. Not saying it is, but I'm just saying it's going to be a tough game. I don't know, maybe Texas gets you. Yeah, I think you throw some injuries. 9-3 floor.
9-3 is the floor. I completely agree with you. I think the ceiling is 11-1. And the reason I say that is not
undefeated.
I just don't see any team in the SEC going undefeated. I just don't.
Well, no, I'm saying, but like that's what you think. I would agree with you. I don't think they do go undefeated, but like their ceiling, like when they're playing their absolute best.
I still think that they're going to drop a game. I don't know why. Like it's just a part of my brain that says when you look at the quality of competition, Alabama could be at its peak right there alongside you in 11-1. But then they lose that one game to Georgia, who Georgia then loses that one game to Texas, who Texas then loses that one game to Florida. That's where my brain is. I just don't see a scenario where any team is good enough to – let me phrase that. There are too many teams that are so well put together that nobody is going to go undefeated in the SEC. And you may see that in the Big Ten, but there's also a clear separation. Like we had Trey on Thursday, and Trey even said, you look at the SEC last year, there was a separation on who was in the bottom. But then there was like that no mid-level. There was a lot of teams that were competitive, and then you couldn't kind of get through that separate. That's how I feel about the SEC right now, where, yeah, you could easily beat Alabama by 20. But then somehow Ole Miss is good enough when it comes to its play design to where it's going to be a battle. Or Florida, it's going to be a battle. Or Texas, it's going to be a battle. And I still have questions when it comes to the quarterback position. I have questions when it comes to the run game. I have questions when it comes to the run defense. Like I thought
it's more holes than they've had since probably 2016.
Both of those areas for Georgia were weak last season. And I do like what they have at wide receiver. I've been on the record saying I think Zachariah Branch is going to be such a good fit for what they want to run. I think Noah Thomas is going to be a mismatch nightmare. And I'm not really that worried about Gunnar Stockton. Like, I don't think Gunnar Stockton's a top 5 passer in the SEC, but I do think that he is a good enough quarterback to fit what you need to run to work.
I'm leaning a little pug, maybe the guy by this season's end.
But if it is, I mean, you should feel good about that too, in my opinion. What I wonder about is, do you feel good about the run game? Do you feel good about the run defense? Because I think that the part of the reason they brought in Ella Mendoza was they wanted to get better at the run defense, especially on first and second down.
Well, see, I think he's a DPR guy. I don't think he can hold up at the point of attack consistently. That would be my concern. If you got to play him full time out there, I think a lot of teams will run at him.
I think he's actually watching his film. I liked him better as a run defender than I did as a pass rusher. Just the way that he attacked. Now,
I think at 220, you could just hang out in the SEC. Just as it's just setting the edge. Again, the offensive lines are as worse as they've been. You said about all sports, but 220 is pretty light to be hanging out there.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a full-time starter. Let's go with that. I don't. But I do think that he is going to be a big situational playmaker, especially for the run defense on early downs and then third down if he's pass rushing. Like,
I'm looking at it, 235. It's bigger than I thought. But again, we can agree. We'll find out this season. But no, you're right, Bear. I mean, I just think if Georgia's talent-wise, if they're playing their best, they could certainly win every game. Will they? No. I think me and you were talking a little two different things. I don't think they're going undefeated. I agree with you. I think they could. Like, their best on any given day is better than everybody else on the schedule except Texas or Alabama. But let's just say Texas or Alabama didn't play up to their ceiling that day. Georgia could definitely win both those games. They're both at home.
See, we did Alabama's schedule, and I said that Alabama.
You said Alabama was 11-1. I thought they were 12-0 too.
So it's like that's the thing is that I can't, in good breath and in good confidence, say, "Hey, Alabama, what they just did it's so much more better than what Georgia did. And I can't also say that with Georgia, what they've lost and in terms of where they are as a program this year, that they're that much further ahead than Bama. I can't. So if I have one at 11-1, I got both at 11-1. And I'm just going to be real. For Texas, it's going to be 11-1 too. Because you want to know why? How much they are replacing. Like, when you replace that much talent, it is going to hurt
you. There you go, 11-1.
I may go 10-2. I may go.
Honestly, to answer my own question, I'd probably go 11-1 LSU.